Coral Springs, Florida. Jules Friday is walking to a friend's house. About the same time, police receive a 911 call alleging several males and females are pulling on car door handles and have already activated several car alarms. The complainant identified one of the suspects as a black male wearing no t-shirt. Police cruisers are sent out to the area to investigate. They spot Mr. Friday. He's ordered to stop. This is the turning point. According to police, Mr. Friday was asked to stop and provide his name. The police report states that Jules continued walking away. Officers ordered the suspect to the ground and attempted to control the suspect in an effort to detain him. Officers assert that Jules continued to be uncompliant and at one point became violent against the officers. Police use a taser, but the weapon has no effect. Police use a canine police dog in an attempt to control Jules, who now has become more physical and violent. More tasers are deployed with no effect and multiple officers are brought in. The altercation only lasts a few minutes, and in the end, Jules is charged with 3 counts of battery on a police officer and resisting arrest with violence. But that's the police version of events. Every police encounter has 3 sides: the officer's version, the suspect's version, and the view of the independent witness. Was Jules Friday the threat the police officers described on the night of April 6, 2012? Our expert report provides a different view of the encounter between Jules Friday and the Coral Springs Police Department. Initial police reports describe activity that doesn't amount to a major crime. Juveniles setting off car alarms intentionally is not something that amounts to a high-priority call. Though the call may have started off as a burglary in progress, it was clear that anyone intending to commit a burglary would not intentionally set off a car alarm. But the call of a burglary in progress no doubt elevated the stakes for Coral Springs officers responding to the scene. Police officers are required to continually evaluate the circumstances they are investigating. If new information becomes available, officers should adjust. It appears in this case no adjustment was made. Jules Friday was contacted while leaving his apartment by Coral Springs officers as though he had committed a crime, according to Mr. Friday and independent witnesses. Witnesses report that Mr. Friday immediately offered identification to the police officers and raised his hands. Friday says that he left his home to get a pack of cigarettes from a friend and had no idea he was walking into a police encounter. The police say Friday would not cooperate with officers and started a fight, but that story is not supported by witness statements and physical evidence.
Jules raises his hand and says, "My ID's in my pocket." Did you ever hear Jules say anything offensive to the officer? "You can't tell me what to do. I don't have to listen to you." Anything like that?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Were you standing close enough to hear what was generally being said?
Yeah, I was close enough. I mean, I was on my side of the property, but you can hear the orders, and you can hear Jules saying, "I got my ID. My ID's in my pocket."
Okay.
Let me explain.
Okay.
They would like, "Get down," and it was just so chaotic.
Friday suffered more than 40 puncture wounds after police released 2 canines. He was bitten on nearly every part of his body. Because he wasn't wearing long pants, every bite hit flesh. The question for our investigators and for our audience is whether or not this was an appropriate use of police force. The International Association of Police Chiefs sets the model for officers' conduct across the country. By their standards, officers are required to reevaluate force contingent on the circumstances in front of them. According to witnesses, Jules Friday didn't pose a threat to the police. His behavior, described as fighting by police officers, was described differently by witnesses. Independent witnesses said that Mr. Friday was not trying to strike an officer as he was flailing his arms and screaming. Indeed, Mr. Friday was fending off 2 dogs for more than 10 minutes, according to one witness, as the police stood by watching. We weren't there, but the use of force in this situation raises questions about how and when a canine should be deployed. When Friday left his apartment, he had not committed a crime, nor was he wanted for any criminal offense. All of the charges the police have brought stem from his alleged failure to cooperate. Would an innocent man walk out of his apartment to engage in a fight with 4 police officers and 2 canines? This is a question that may remain unanswered until Jules Friday's criminal trial next month. What we can say right now is that the police version of events is contradicted by nearly a half a dozen witnesses who saw the entire encounter. On its face, the police appear to have violated their own policy with regard to deployment of the canine. Though the call started off as a burglary, it's clear from our interviews with witnesses that this was nothing more than teenagers playing pranks on their neighbors. Our police practices experts believe that the officers had an obligation to investigate further before allowing the canines to attack. Friday was unarmed and only wearing shorts and a tank top. Given the modest suspect information, the police were acting on anyone wearing shorts that evening could have been the victim of a police canine attack. The Coral Springs police website says that canines are only used in the case of serious felonies. Was this a serious felony? Not according to the evidence we have. There's no evidence that any car was broken into, nor is there any other evidence of a serious crime prior to Mr. Friday's contact with the police. A vehicle tampering investigation would not allow officers to use the extraordinary force applied in this case. Mr. Friday was tasered repeatedly and mauled by 2 police dogs for several minutes. A jury must decide if Friday was fighting back or trying to flee a police dog attack. What do you think? We've given you our opinion. We will have more in this special report as we follow Jules Friday to court. He is due to be arraigned in court next month on 3 counts of assault on a police officer and 1 count of resisting arrest.
Find FBI office, South Florida.
How about a web search for FBI office South? Searching the web for find FBI office South Florida.
FBI.
Yes, sir. I'm calling from my job, and the line here is this call recorded on your end?
Yes, it is, sir. How can I help you?
Okay. I'd like to know what the FBI can do with respect to a complaint of police misconduct.
Hold on, sir.
Yes.
FBI Miami, can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. And I'm calling from work, and our lines here are recorded, so I wanted to make you aware of that.
Right.
The question I had is, what is the FBI's role with respect to investigations of police brutality in the state of Florida?
We do have an interest in that.
Okay.
You want to tell me the situation?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. What is your name? Let's start at the beginning.
Okay, not a problem. My name is Diop Kamau, and I'm a retired...
Diop?
Yeah, D-I-O-P.
E-I-O-P.
Last name K-A-M-A-U.
A-U. Okay.
Okay. And I'm actually a retired sheriff detective with LA County Sheriffs. And I do investigative work, and I'm working on a case that I think should be brought to your attention. It involves a young man who was mauled by 2 police dogs, and I believe without any legal justification. He wasn't wanted for anything. He didn't do anything. I've talked to 6 independent witnesses who watched him be mauled for approximately 10 minutes by 2 canines. And
Is this in the Miami area?
Coral Springs Police Department. I'm not sure if that's in your jurisdiction, but if it is,
It is.
yes. And I initially went through the police department, as anyone would, to get someone to look into it. There was no interest from the person in internal affairs, at least initially. I finally got him to get interested in the case after I called the chief's office, but even after that, he has made no effort to interview a single witness. He hasn't picked. I actually have a taser cartridge, one of the ones that was fired. I have it here in my office because I had citizens collecting evidence that was laying around the scene. The victim has somewhere between 40 and 80 puncture wounds. He was bitten pretty much over every part of his body.
When did this occur?
It occurred April 6th of this year.
April 6th,
Mm-hmm.
2012. What is the name of the victim?
The victim's name is Jules Friday.
Jules?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Friday.
Yes.
Do you have any other identifying information on him? Birth date, social security number, address, phone number?
Well, actually, I have everything on him, and it might be easier if I can email it to you or mail it to you, but in any event, whatever you need, I'll be happy to provide.
Just give it to me now because I have to put it into a certain kind of format for the report.
Okay, well, I don't have his all of his contact information, date of birth. I have the police report and all that. What I'll do is if you can tell me what you need, I will call back with that information in hand and give it to you over the phone.
A way to contact him and a way to identify him.
Okay.
So, like his birth date, his address, and his phone number. Is there a reason why he is not
Calling you?
making the report? Yeah.
Yeah, two reasons. One, he is a low-income individual who doesn't have any resources. He's got to work, and I'm helping him pro bono. I have no financial interest in this, and I told him I would help him, and I'm doing that as a good citizen.
Okay. Yes, that's true.
Okay, well, thanks.
Okay, but I guess what I'm asking is he going to balk if we talk to him?
No, he is totally willing to speak with you. I told him I would make an initial inquiry and then put him in touch with anyone who might be following up as a way of investigation. So, in fact, I do have his number, and I'll give it to you now. Let me just pull it up in my phone. Just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, his number is 561. And my eyes are not so good. Let me get my glasses. Just a minute. 561-9.
About how old is he?
He's about 24 years old.
Okay. I'm just checking to see if he's a minor or... Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. What is your address?
My address is 1400 Village Square Boulevard.
Village Square Boulevard.
Uh-huh. And I can get you, let me see if I can just pull his address up as well. I'll give it to you in just a
All
moment.
right. And what city are you in?
I'm in Tallahassee, Florida.
Tallahassee. Okay.
Yes.
Did he contact?
Yes, his mother and another party contacted me. I do investigative work for national media, and they wanted someone to take a look at this. So when I saw it, I get thousands of people calling in with nothing complaints. This one is serious.
Oh yes, it is.
Okay, and we have photographs. I mean, when you see the photos, they're ghastly. Let me just get his information. Just a moment. Okay, his address is 3715 Northwest 115 Way. In Coral Springs, and the zip is 33065. Mm-hmm.
Right. So this happened. Did he go to the hospital?
Yes, yes. He was.
The hospital?
He went to the hospital. He was treated for his injuries, and after we got to the hospital, the police intentionally gave hospital staff a wrong name that they knew was not his name. His ID was in his top pocket.
Okay. So the police took him
Yes.
under false name.
Yes. And the only charges he has, the criminal charges he has,
Okay.
are all...
My next question.
Oh, okay, yeah. The only charges he has are resisting arrest and 3 counts of assault on a police officer. And when you hear the story from the witnesses, it's kind of clear what was going on. He was being eaten by these dogs, and he was jumping and flailing his arms, and he was, in a lot of pain. And it perfectly explains, when you see the reverse of it, when the police side of it, they say he was swinging at officers and trying to escape.
Yeah.
Well, he was laying on the ground according to one witness, as the police stood by, just watched the dogs go up and down his body.
Well, this sounds horrifying.
It,
Just horrifying.
wait till you see
Horrified.
wait till you see the pictures, and
Okay.
I should just add that
But these assaults on police officers were from this incident. There was nothing
Yes.
prior to that.
no. Let me just give you I can give you the shortest story you need in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
This guy walks out of his apartment to go get a cigarette. He has nothing to do with anything.
Right.
The police are out on a search for someone tampering with cars. Not him, but they say the suspect information was black male, shorts, and no shirt on. He walks out with shorts and a tank top on. The police approach him. They tell him to lay on the ground. According to both him and the witnesses, the dog was already like barking like he was going to bite. He was afraid to lay down. So they tasered him 3 times and just let the dogs chew him up. And
They let the dogs attack him after being tasered.
yes.
Okay. And all right. I'm just horrified.
Yeah, I mean, the photographs, I have a website, policeabuse.com. The video is going to be on the website by this afternoon. One of the videos is up there now where you hear me interview him, and when he shows you the wounds, he's got puncture wounds, all over his body, in his groin, his neck, his back, his legs. Some wounds were like torn open. A month later, he's got pus and blood still oozing out of the wounds. They haven't healed. That's how bad they are.
Oh my God.
He hadn't done anything. He went to get a cigarette. They have no other crime. And in fact, even the burglary's a hoax. It turns out that it was just kids setting off car alarms intentionally by pulling the car doors just as a prank. He walks out of his apartment and is next surrounded by 2 canines and 4 officers. And they basically took this guy apart.
Okay. All right. And then, okay, so this happened, and you said it's policeabuse.com.
Yeah, policeabuse.com. I'm going to have the video up on the website it's about 11 o'clock now. The video will be on the site by 1 p.m. So the other video of my interview with him, just talking to him, is one side of it. But I'm producing an expert report because I expect to testify in this case. And that report's going to be up. It's more clinical. It's straightforward. And that'll be up by 1 p.m. But if you just want to see the bite, like right now, if you just go on YouTube and Google Coral Springs Police, you're going to see our videos, one of the 4 videos up there right now, where you see this guy getting the injuries he has from the mauling.
Would you consider delaying putting up the video until you talk to a special agent?
Yes, I'd be happy.
It's completely your decision.
No, I'd be happy to do that. That's not a problem. I think this is this serious.
Oh, I agree with you. And instead of just putting the report through, I'm going to make phone calls. So
Okay.
I have a couple more questions. You've talked to Coral Springs
Yeah.
Department,
Yes.
and you've been frustrated.
Yeah, let me just look. I'm a cop. My dad was a cop 30 years, so I know how things work on the inside, and I know that a lot of people make up stories and they're not going to go anywhere. This is a story where someone should have been on the ground immediately looking for evidence one way or the other, and no one. I called repeatedly. I called 4 times. The investigator, I actually have him on tape because we talked, and he told me, I said, it's been a month now. It's been raining. There's blood splatter on the ground. You guys should at least go out and take photographs, maybe take a swab or do something. He said, oh, no, that's not necessary in a resisting case. I said, well, he's already drawn the conclusion that the guy was resisting. Well, that's convenient, but I don't know that that's what happened, and it contradicts every witness I've spoke to who said the first thing the guy did was put his hands up. That's the first thing he did. He put his hands up. He said, my ID's in my pocket, and I'm not the person you're looking for.
All right. Okay, is there anything else I should ask? Right.
Right. And just the last thing I want to say is I have the taser cartridge here. I was initially going to turn it over to the police, but I would much prefer to give it to your office, and you guys can, if you want to turn it over to the police afterwards, that's fine. But because I have no confidence in what they're doing, I want to make sure it goes to someone who's responsible and is going to, make sure it ends up in the right hands, either in the court or elsewhere.
Now, that was the last question. Does the victim have an attorney?
No, he doesn't have an attorney.
Yeah, okay.
Not as of yet. We're trying to find a representation for him, but I don't know how long that's going to take. And in the meantime, I've talked to the witnesses, and I initially told Coral Springs that I would make the witnesses available to them, but every witness I talk to has no confidence in the police and will not give me permission to give up their name. I wouldn't mind giving it to the FBI if they want it, but they're very scared and they're worried the police are going to come back through. And they've told me the cops have been going there, not bothering anybody directly, but parking on the same street. And it's a tense community situation that could get worse any minute.
All right, well, let me make some calls and write up this report and take care of this for you.
Okay.
And I'm sure you'll hear somebody back.
Okay, and who am I speaking with right now?
We don't give out our names.
Okay, not a problem. I totally
I
understand.
can always be identified by time and date of when you called in if you ever need to complain about what I've done.
No, not a problem. You've been very professional, and I do appreciate your time.
All right.
Have a good morning. Bye bye.
You too.
Mm-hmm.